Okay, so page 81, you'll see a chart with a lot of questions. And it's supposed to be a game, but we're not going to play the game. We're just going to practice asking these questions and answering them with our family members if possible, or if not, then you can practice verbally on your own. So for this activity, we're going to use when, before, or after. So let's take a look at the example in the blue box. So when we ask, what do you do when people interrupt you? You might answer, when people interrupt me, I usually stop talking and listen, but sometimes I ask them to let me finish. Okay? And then you might ask, what do you do to reward yourself after you finish a difficult task? Okay, and then you might answer, after I finish a difficult task, I often eat ice cream or cake to reward myself. Okay, so you'll see, as I mentioned, a lot of questions, and I want you to practice as many as you can with someone or on your own. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and give you some time to ask and answer these questions. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for practicing English. Now, for homework, I actually want you to pick one from each color or each row, and I want you to write the answer and send it to me via email. So again, pick one question from each row and write your answer, or write your partner's answer. If you asked your children or your husband, then you can write their answer, but you have to say my husband or my children, and then complete the sentence. So keep that in mind, and you might have to change the verb form. Like instead of go, you would have to say goes. So you already know that. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next page, page 82. This is our review for units 5 and 6, page 82. Okay, so the first exercise is a listening activity, so I'm going to go ahead and play the audio, and I want you to take notes, and also as you listen, place a check mark under the correct name. And also as you listen, I want you to try to find phrases that we learned in Unit 5. Phrases that use verbs plus infinitives, and phrases that use the present perfect tense with already and yet. The first one I mentioned, verbs plus infinitives, was from lesson B. Okay, so if you remember, an infinitive is to plus base verb, or base verb is the same as like root verb or original verb. Yeah, all the same thing. So this is an infinitive. So for example, we might say to go, to watch, to see, and you can also add a verb before an infinitive. So we might say, for example, plan to go, intend to watch, hope to see. So those are very common phrases. Okay, and then present perfect tense, if you remember, in order to make present perfect tense, we need to use a form of have plus PP. So if you remember, PP is past participle. So instead of give, we would say given. Instead of teach, we would say taught. Instead of eat, we would say eaten. So as you listen, I also want you to try to find two phrases using the verb plus infinitive, and also try to find two phrases using present perfect tense with already or yet. Okay?
Review, Units 5 and 6. Page 82, Exercise 1.
Hey, Min. So where do you plan to go on vacation?
I've decided to visit my family in Vietnam.
Fantastic. Have you bought your tickets yet?
Not yet, Trina. I plan to buy them this week. What about you? What do you plan to do during your vacation?
Well, I want to go to Las Vegas.
Las Vegas?
Yeah, I've already made my reservations. My husband and I won 3 free nights at a big hotel.
You're kidding. How did you win that?
We just filled out a form at a shopping mall.
Wow. Is it really free?
I think so. But when we get there, we have to listen to a lecture about vacation timeshares.
Do you intend to buy a place in a hotel for vacations?
No, but we intend to have fun in a free one.
Okay, so as I always ask after a listening activity, who is talking or who are the speakers? Okay, so you can say Trina and Min are the speakers, or Trina and Min are talking. And what are they talking about? What are they talking about? Okay, so you can say they are talking about vacation plans. They are talking about vacation plans. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the chart. So number 1 says, has decided to visit family. So if you make a question, you might say, who has decided to visit family? Okay, and the answer is Min. So if you make a sentence, we can say, Min has decided to visit family. Number 2, who is going to Las Vegas? Okay, and the answer is Trina. Trina is going to Las Vegas. Number 3, who hasn't bought plane tickets yet? Min hasn't bought plane tickets yet. Number 4, who has already made reservations? Trina has already made reservations. And number 5, who has won a free hotel room? Trina has won a free hotel room. And I also asked you to listen for phrases using the verb plus infinitive. So some of the verb plus infinitive phrases that they used were plan to go, plan to buy, plan to do, want to go, intend to buy, and intend to have. Okay, and then I also asked you to listen for phrases using the present perfect tense with already or yet. So they said, have you bought your tickets yet? And I've already made my reservations. So actually the chart gave you some hints too. Okay, now we're going to look at exercise 2 grammar. Complete the story. Use the correct words. So I'm going to give you some time to complete the story and complete the questions in exercise B. Okay, so now let's look at the story together. A great time manager. Natalia Alvarez begins work at 8 o'clock in the morning. It is 7:50 and she has already arrived at her job. She is a single parent, so she needs to manage her time well. So again, that is a verb plus infinitive. Needs to manage. Every Saturday before she goes shopping, she makes a list of all the food she needs. After she takes her children to the park on Sunday, she cooks meals for the rest of the week. When she comes home late, she just heats up the food she cooked on Sunday. After she helps her children with their homework, she does the laundry and goes to bed for the night. Natalia is a great time manager. Okay, and then exercise B. Number 1, what does Natalia do before she goes shopping? Natalia makes a list before she goes shopping. Number 2, what does she do after she goes to the park? She cooks meals for the rest of the week after she goes to the park. And number 3, when does she do the laundry? She does the laundry after she helps her children with their homework. Okay, now I actually want you to look at the story again, and I want you to make another question, and the answer is, she just heats up the food she cooked on Sunday. If you need help, you can look at numbers 1 and 2 in exercise B. That will give you a big hint. Okay, so we can say, what does she do when she comes home late? What does she do when she comes home late? Okay, and of course, as I mentioned, the answer is she just heats up the food she cooked on Sunday. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to page 83. 83, exercise 3, pronunciation. So for this lesson, we are going to practice making the initial ST sound. Go ahead and listen to the initial ST sound.
Page 83, Exercise 3A. 1,
Study English.
2,
Start the computer.
3,
Tell the story.
4,
What state do you live in?
5,
Go to the store.
6,
Students need to study.
7,
Let's see the salsa stars.
8,
Stop procrastinating.
So if you noticed, the initial ST sound doesn't have the same T sound like a regular T. So instead of saying study English, we say study English. Okay? So we might say that the T is a soft T, and a regular T is aspirated. So aspirated means like you have to make a sound like you can hear your breath, like t, t. Okay? So like the letter T, we don't say T, we say T. Okay, that's called an aspirated sound. Aspirated T. Okay, so there are times when we have to make the aspirated T sound, like when the T is at the beginning of a word. So for example, okay, we say test. Okay, and if you noticed, there's actually also an ST here, but it's not the initial ST. It's not at the beginning. So we can aspirate the T. We can say test. Okay? We don't say test. We just say test. Okay? So this is an example of aspirated T's. Now, I want you to look at this though. If we say tester, then the ST is in the middle. So we actually make the same sound as the initial ST. So the th sound, the soft T sound. So we can say tester, not tester, tester, okay? So again, we say study English, not study English, and start, not start, and then story, not story, okay? So, and then here are some other examples of ST sounds that are aspirated because they are at the end. So we say first. We don't say first, we say first. Same thing here, we say past. Okay, so these T's sound breathy, aspirated. Okay, let's look at exercise B. I'm going to play the audio and I want you to underline the initial ST sound.
Page 83, Exercise 3B. 1,
Hi, Stuart. I'm going to the store. What do you need?
Can you get me some stamps? It's the first of the month, and I have to pay bills.
Sure.
Thanks. I'll start writing the checks now. and stop procrastinating.
2,
Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, Steve. Are you still a student here?
Yes, I'm studying appliance repair.
Really? Maybe you can fix my stove when you're finished.
I hope so.
Okay, so number 1, hi Stuart. Okay, so you can see Stuart has an initial ST sound, and then store, and then letter B, stamps, and then at the end of the conversation, you can also see start and stop. Now, actually, you can also see the word procrastinating. So there is an ST in the middle. So in that case too, it makes an initial ST sound, but it's in the middle. So we say procrastinating. We don't say procrastinating. So it's like this word, tester, or poster, or faster, or Boston. Okay, so those all have ST sounds in the middle, but they sound just like an initial ST sound. Okay, number 2, Stephanie, Steve, still, student, studying, and stove. Okay, so for exercises C and D, you can just do those on your own. And if you have any questions, again, as I mentioned, you can feel free to email me or you can ask me in our WhatsApp chat. All right, so again, a reminder to do your homework and email it to me. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson, and I will see you next time.